Who let this black kid into my classroom? Professor Hartwell's voice echoed through the lecture hall. 23 years of tenure, 6 figures, untouchable. You back row, the black one. Stand up. Isaiah Parker rose, 19, silent. Look at this. The black face in advanced number theory. Hartwell laughed. Food stamp family, Section 8 housing. Did your welfare caseworker fill out your application? Or did some diversity committee drag you here to meet their quota? He grabbed the chalk. I'm going to write an impossible equation. PhDs have failed. Geniuses have... And you, ghetto trash, you're going to prove why black kids don't belong in real mathematics. What Hartwell did next would cost him everything. His career, his reputation, his deepest secret. Let me tell you who Isaiah Parker really... Because Professor Hartwell had no idea, and that ignorance would destroy him. Isaiah was 19 years old, a sophomore at Whitmore University, the youngest student in advanced number theory by 2 full years. Every day he sat in the back row, same seat, same corner. He never raised his hand, never volunteered answers, never showed anyone what he could really do. His homework was correct, but unremarkable. B+ average. Nothing special, nothing threatening. That was intentional. Isaiah had learned something. A lesson his grandmother taught him when he was just a boy. Don't let them see everything you got. Save something for when you need it. Being seen had a cost. Being noticed meant being targeted. But here's what nobody knew. Isaiah Parker had been solving graduate-level mathematics since he was 15 years old. Self-taught. No tutor, no prep school. Just him. Late nights, cold coffee, and a stack of notebooks he found in his grandmother's attic when he was 13. Those notebooks changed everything. Fonzie. They belonged to his father, James Parker, a man who died when Isaiah was only 6 years old. Isaiah barely remembered him. Just fragments. A warm hand on his shoulder. The smell of chalk dust. A deep voice saying words that burned into his memory forever. Numbers don't lie, son. People do. His mother never talked about James. His grandmother would just shake her head and say, "Your daddy was a good man. The world wasn't good to him." Then he found the notebooks, hidden in the attic, covered in dust. Pages and pages of equations, proofs, theories, mathematical ideas that Isaiah couldn't begin to understand. And margin notes, hundreds of them, written in handwriting that felt strangely familiar. It took years to decode. Isaiah would come home from school and study those notebooks instead, teaching himself, piece by piece. 15, he wasn't just reading his father's work, he was continuing it. By 17, he was solving problems that most graduate students couldn't touch. By 19, he was quietly, invisibly, one of the most talented mathematicians at Whitmore University, and nobody knew. Isaiah kept his gift hidden, protected, saved for when he needed it. He didn't know that moment was coming. He didn't know a 23-year secret was about to explode. Now, let me tell you about the man at the front of that classroom. Professor Richard Hartwell, the man who thought he was untouchable. Hartwell was 58 years old, tenured for 22 years. He ran his classroom like a kingdom. Students called his course the graveyard where GPA went to die. Hartwell liked it that way. He enjoyed the fear, the power, the control. 3 formal complaints of racial bias in 5 years. 3 black students who said Hartwell targeted them, humiliated them, drove them out. All 3 complaints dismissed. Insufficient evidence. Hartwell had friends in the administration, but Hartwell had a secret. One he'd been hiding for 24 years, and it was about to walk right through his door. October 15th, 2:0 p.m. room 248. Advanced number theory. Isaiah walked in like every other day. Backpack over one shoulder, eyes down, invisible. He took his usual seat, back row, far corner. Professor Hartwell was already at the front. "Good afternoon, class. Today, we're going to have some fun." He smiled. The kind of smile that made you want to run. "I have a challenge problem. Anyone who solves this equation gets automatic extra credit, enough to guarantee an A for the semester." Whispers rippled through the room. But here's the catch. If you try and fail, and you will fail, you drop 1 full letter grade immediately. No appeals, no second chances. Silence. Nobody moved. Hartwell scanned the room, then his gaze stopped. "Mr. Parker, stand up." Isaiah's stomach dropped. "Yes, sir. You've been very quiet this semester. Come to the front. Let's see what you've really got." Isaiah walked forward. Hartwell handed him the chalk. This is an equation from a 1986 paper. Mathematicians have worked on it for decades. PhD students have tried. Professors have tried. Nobody has solved it. He leaned closer. Between you and me, I don't think you'll last 30 seconds. Then louder. 5 minutes, Mr. Parker. Impress me or drop my class today. Hartwell turned to the board and started writing. The chalk squeaked, numbers and symbols spreading. A modified Diophantine equation. Variables tangled together. Notation that most undergraduates wouldn't recognize. Your 5 minutes starts now. Isaiah stared at the board. His heart should have been pounding. Every instinct should have told him to surrender. But something else was happening. A memory, a recognition. He'd seen this equation before. In a notebook with his father's handwriting, dated 1994. And in the margin, 3 words, solved. Method C. Isaiah remembered the solution. Every step, every transformation. He raised the chalk. What are you doing? Hartwell laughed. Don't embarrass yourself. Isaiah started writing. His hand moved with certainty. Numbers flowing, symbols aligning, symbols aligning. His approach was unconventional. Nothing like the textbook methods. Because it wasn't from a textbook, it was from a dead man's notebook. Hartwell's smile disappeared. 30 seconds. Isaiah kept writing. 60 seconds. The board was filling up. One student leaned forward, then another. 90 seconds. 90 seconds. He set down the chalk, stepped back, turned around. Done. 94 seconds. That's how long it took to solve an equation that had stumped mathematicians for 40 years. The classroom was frozen. Hartwell stared at the board, checking, rechecking, looking for a mistake. There wasn't one. The solution was complete, correct, elegant. That's not possible, Hartwell's voice cracked. It's correct, sir. Isaiah's voice was steady. You can verify it. One student started clapping, then another. Stop. Hartwell raised his hand. Everyone, stop. The applause died, but the damage was done. A 19-year-old black student had just solved what a tenured professor couldn't in front of 40 witnesses. Where did you learn that method? Hartwell spun around, face red, hands trembling. That approach isn't in any textbook. My father taught me. Your father? Who is your father? His name was James Parker. He died when I was 6. For 1 second, Hartwell's mask shattered. Fear, recognition, panic. Then it was gone, replaced by ice. Class dismissed. Everyone out now. Mr. Parker, you'll be hearing from me. Word spread like wildfire. By dinner, half the campus was talking. Did you hear? Some sophomore solved Hartwell's impossible equation. In under 2 minutes, made the old man lose his mind. A black kid from Chicago. Never said a word all semester. Then, boom. Isaiah went back to his apartment, locked the door, tried to become invisible again. It didn't work. His phone kept buzzing. He ignored it all. What he couldn't ignore was the feeling in his gut. Something was wrong. The way Hartwell had looked at him when he said his father's name. That wasn't surprise. That was recognition. That was fear. 2 days later, Isaiah learned the email arrived at 3:47 p.m. Subject: academic integrity violation. Immediate meeting required. Isaiah read it 3 times. Academic integrity violation. That meant cheating. That meant expulsion. He walked into Hartwell's office at 4 sharp p.m. Sharp. The door closed behind him like a coffin lid. Let me be direct with you. Hartwell's voice was smooth. Your performance has raised serious concerns. Your solution was too perfect, too fast, too sophisticated for someone of your background. My background? No sophomore solves a problem like that in 90 seconds. Not without cheating. I didn't cheat. Then explain it. Explain how a 19-year-old from the south side of Chicago, working night shifts at a warehouse, barely scraping by on financial aid, that estimate solves a problem that defeated professional mathematicians for 40 years. Isaiah kept his voice steady. I told you in class. My father taught me. Ah, yes. Your father, the dead mathematician. Convenient, isn't it? A witness who can never be questioned. It's the truth. Here's what I think is the truth, Mr. Parker. Hartwell pulled a document. I think you found that solution somewhere online. You memorized it, waited for your moment, and played the hero. He slid the document across. This is a formal academic integrity complaint. You have 2 weeks to prove you didn't. If you can't, and let's be honest, you can't, you'll be expelled permanently. I learned that method from my father's notebooks. He was a mathematician. He worked on that exact problem. Something flickered in Hartwell's eyes. Your father's notebooks? Yes. And what was your father's name again? James. James Parker. The flicker became a crack. Hartwell's mask slipping. I've never heard of him. Too quick, too defensive. He studied mathematics. He was brilliant. I said I've never heard of him. Hartwell stood abruptly. This meeting is over. I suggest you withdraw now. Save yourself the humiliation of a public expulsion. Isaiah stood. I didn't cheat, and I'm not withdrawing. Then you're a fool. Just like... Hartwell stopped himself. Just like who? Isaiah asked. Get out of my office. Isaiah left, but one thought consumed him. Just like who? Hartwell knew something about his father. Something he was desperate to keep buried. That night, Isaiah made a phone call that unlocked everything. Mom, I need to ask you something about Dad. Silence. Long, heavy. Why are you bringing this up now, Isaiah? Because a professor at Whitmore is trying to expel me. He's accusing me of cheating. And when I said Dad's name, he looked terrified, like he'd seen a ghost. More silence. Then a sound Isaiah hadn't heard in years. His mother crying. What's the professor's name? A sharp intake of breath. A muffled sob. Mom, what is it? What happened? Come home this weekend, Isaiah. There are things I should have told you a long time ago. Things about your father. Things about that man. What things? Not over the phone. Come home, please. The line went dead. Isaiah sat in his apartment, his father's notebook surrounding him. He opened the oldest one. First page, faded pencil. Whitmore University, fall 1994. His father had studied here, at this university, in this department, 24 years ago. He flipped through the pages, searching. Near the back, a page torn out. Only fragments remained, but one word was visible. Hartwell. Whatever happened between them destroyed his father's life. And now it was threatening to destroy his. Isaiah drove home that weekend. 4 hours through rain and empty highways. His mother was waiting at the kitchen table, a cardboard box in front of her. The box Isaiah had never been allowed to open. I kept this hidden. Linda Parker's voice was barely a whisper. I thought if you never knew, you'd be safe. Safe from what, Mom? She opened the box. Inside, letters, documents, photographs. A young man with Isaiah's eyes. Isaiah's smile. Your father was a student at Whitmore 24 years ago. He was the most brilliant mathematician in his program. Everyone said he'd change the world. What happened to him? His advisor happened. She pulled out a letter, yellow with age, dated February 1995. Dear Mr. Parker, following the investigation into academic misconduct, your enrollment at Whitmore University is hereby terminated. Isaiah read the signature at the bottom. Richard Hartwell, department chair. His blood ran cold. Hartwell was Dad's advisor? More than that, his mother wiped her eyes. Your father developed a solution, a breakthrough, the same equation you solved in that classroom. He was going to publish it, make his name, change everything. And Hartwell stole it. He took James's work, published it under his own name in 1995, built his entire career on it. And when your father tried to fight back, he accused him of plagiarism. His own work, Isaiah. Hartwell said your father copied from him. The university believed the tenured professor over the young black graduate student. No real investigation, just destruction. Isaiah felt the room spinning, but there was one more question. How did Dad die, Mom? Linda couldn't look at him. He tried to move on. Got a job. Married me. Had you. But the injustice ate at him. The knowledge that his life's work had someone else's name on it. She finally met his eyes. He left a note. Said he couldn't fight anymore. Said the system had won. And then he... Isaiah understood. His father hadn't just died. He'd been killed slowly, deliberately by a man who stole his work, destroyed his reputation, and walked away clean. I'm not going to let him win again. Mom? Isaiah, please. Just transfer. Walk away. Don't let him do to you what he did to your father. Yeah, dude, that's... Isaiah shook his head. Dad walked away. He gave up, and it killed him. He stood. I'm going to finish what he started. And I'm going to make Richard Hartwell pay for every life he destroyed. The next 2 weeks were the worst of Isaiah's life. The university required new evidence that Hartwell had spent 24 years burying. The Academic Integrity Office gave him 14 days. The whispers started immediately. That's the kid who cheated in Hartwell's class. Heard he stole the solution from somewhere online. Typical. Affirmative action fraud. Students who'd never spoken to Isaiah suddenly had opinions. His study group stopped responding. His lab partner requested a transfer. Professors who'd smiled at him before now looked through him like glass. He stopped going to class. What was the point? He spent his nights alone, surrounded by his father's notebooks, searching for something that could save him. Then came the letter that nearly broke him. During academic break, they'd scheduled his hearing during a holiday, when the campus was empty, when witnesses wouldn't be around, when no one would be watching. This wasn't justice. This was an execution. Isaiah tried to fight back. He called everyone. The Academic Integrity Office, closed for the holiday. Student Advocacy Center, voicemail, legal aid. We'll call you back after the break. The dean's office, the schedule is non-negotiable. Every door closed. Every avenue blocked. Isaiah sat in his apartment, his father's notebooks spread around him like tombstones. For the first time, he understood why his father gave up. The system wasn't broken. It was designed this way, built to protect people like Hartwell, built to crush people like Hartwell, built to crush people like James Parker, like Isaiah. Maybe Mom was right, he whispered. Maybe I should just walk away. That's when he found the envelope at the bottom of his father's box. A sealed envelope yellowed with age. To Isaiah when he's old enough. His father's handwriting. Isaiah's hands shook as he opened it. Son, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry. I couldn't be stronger. They took everything from me. My work, my name, my future, my will to fight. Tears blurred Isaiah's vision. But they couldn't take you, and they couldn't take what's in your blood. You have the gift. I saw it when you were just a baby. One day you'll be better than I ever was. And when they come for you, because they will, don't make my mistake. Don't disappear. Don't give them the satisfaction. The next words hit him like a fist. Fight, even when it hurts, even when you're alone, even when the whole world says you can't win. Fight, because giving up isn't peace. It's just another kind of death. Isaiah held the letter to his chest. His father had known. Even before Isaiah was born, he'd known this day would come. And he told Isaiah exactly what to do. Isaiah didn't sleep that night. Instead, he worked, organizing his father's notebooks, dating every page, cross-referencing every equation with Hartwell's publications. The pattern was undeniable. James Parker's work, 1994. Hartwell's publication, 1995. Same equations, same methods, same solutions. The dates proved everything. His father came first. Hartwell was the thief. But Isaiah knew the evidence alone wasn't enough. Not against a tenured professor with 23 years of institutional protection. He needed someone inside. Someone with credentials. Someone Hartwell couldn't silence. He opened his laptop, searched the Whitmore faculty directory. One name caught his attention. Dr. Lydia Moore, Associate Professor of Applied Mathematics, MIT PhD. One of 3 black faculty members at Whitmore, the only one in the mathematics department. He'd heard stories about her. She didn't play politics. Had a reputation for fighting battles others wouldn't touch. Isaiah looked at the clock. 5:47 a.m. too early to call, but not too early to email. He started typing. Dr. Moore, my name is Isaiah Parker. You don't know me, but I need your help. Professor Hartwell is accusing me of cheating, but I have evidence that he's been hiding something for 24 years. Something about my father, James Parker. Please, you're my last hope. He hit send, then he waited. Dr. Lydia Moore was 48 years old. MIT, PhD. She'd survived 20 years in academia by being twice as good and 3 times as careful. She knew which battles to pick. For 24 years, she'd stayed silent about James Parker. Not anymore. She said, tell me everything from the beginning. Don't leave anything out. Isaiah talked for 30 minutes. The equation, the humiliation, the accusation, his father's notebooks, the letter from 1995, everything. Dr. Moore listened without interrupting. When Isaiah finished, she was quiet for a long time. Then she pointed to the photograph on her desk. You see that man? Second from the left. Isaiah looked. A young black man. Brilliant smile. Eyes full of hope. That's your father. James Parker. James Parker. We were in the same doctoral program, 1994. Isaiah's heart stopped. You knew him. I knew him well. He was the most talented mathematician I'd ever met. Everyone said he'd change the field forever. Her voice dropped, and then Hartwell destroyed him. You saw what happened? I saw everything. Dr. Moore stood, walked to her window. Your father developed something extraordinary. A solution to a problem that had stumped mathematicians for decades. Hartwell was his advisor. Had access to all of James's work, and he stole it. Published it under his own name, 1995. Built his entire career on it. Her voice hardened. And when your father tried to fight back, Hartwell accused him of plagiarism. His own work. The university believed the tenured white professor over the young black graduate student. No investigation, just destruction. Isaiah felt rage building. You were there? You could have said something. I know, Dr. Moore's voice cracked. I was 22 years old. A black woman trying to survive in a department that barely tolerated my existence. Speaking up meant losing everything. She met his eyes. I've carried that guilt for 24 years. Every time Hartwell walks past me in the hallway, I remember what I didn't do. Why are you helping me now? Because I'm tired of being a coward, and because you have something your father never had. What? Proof that can't be ignored. She pulled a folder from her desk. After you emailed me, I did some digging. University archives, department records, things Hartwell thought he'd buried forever. Ah? She opened the folder, spread documents across the desk. This is a research proposal your father submitted to the department in October 1994. It describes the exact methodology that Hartwell published in 1995. Isaiah stared at the papers. His father's name, his father's work. Dated before Hartwell's publication. And this. Dr. Moore pulled out another document. This is a formal complaint your father filed in February 1995, alleging that Hartwell stole his research. Isaiah read it. His father's words. His father's pain, preserved on paper for 24 years. The complaint was dismissed. Insufficient evidence. Your father was expelled 2 weeks later. So Hartwell has done this before and gotten away with it for 24 years. But here's the thing. Your father's notebooks. If we can prove they're authentic, that they weren't fabricated, then Hartwell's entire defense collapses. How do we prove that? We don't. We get someone else to prove it. Someone whose credentials are so impeccable that the university can't ignore them. She picked up her phone. My doctoral advisor, Dr. Benjamin Crawford, MIT Emeritus, Fields Medal nominee, the most respected mathematician in the country. If he says your abilities are real, nobody can argue. Will he help? I don't know. He's 71, semi-retired, doesn't take meetings. She started dialing. But for something like this, for a chance to right a 24-year wrong, he might make an exception. The phone rang. A voice answered. Isaiah couldn't hear the conversation. Benjamin, it's Lydia. Yes, I know it's been a while. I need a favor, a big one. Academic fraud, 24 years old, the victim's son. Yes, I'm certain. His name is Parker, James Parker's son. Silence on the other end. Then Dr. Moore smiled. Thank you. I'll send everything tonight. She hung up. Dr. Crawford is assembling a panel. 3 mathematicians, independent evaluation. You have 48 hours to prepare. Isaiah felt hope for the first time in weeks. What's the catch? One of the panel members, Dr. Gregory Sullivan from Princeton. He was at Whitmore in 1994. Isaiah's blood ran cold. He knew my father, possibly. They were in the same program. Dr. Moore's expression darkened. He might be a witness, or he might be another one of Hartwell's allies. I don't know which. Isaiah stood 48 hours. 3 mathematicians. All 3 mathematicians. One chance. Dr. Moore nodded. If you pass their test, the plagiarism charge collapses. If you fail... She didn't need to finish. November 26th, 9:00 a.m. A conference room in downtown Whitmore. Neutral ground. The panel sat at a long table. Isaiah faced them alone. Dr. Benjamin Crawford, 71 years old. MIT Emeritus. Fields Medal nominee. White hair, sharp eyes. Dr. Catherine Reynolds, 55. Stanford. Cryptography expert. Dr. Gregory Sullivan, 62. Princeton. Number theory. A Whitmore graduate from 1995, the year his father was destroyed. Sullivan's face was unreadable. Dr. Crawford spoke first. Mr. Parker, you understand the purpose of this evaluation. We're here to determine if your mathematical abilities are genuine. If you solve that equation through skill or through fraud. Crawford's voice was cold, clinical. We have no stake in the outcome. We're here for the truth. Isaiah nodded. Good. Then let's begin. Crawford placed 3 problems in front of Isaiah. Elliptic curves. Graduate-level difficulty. Isaiah picked up his pencil. For a moment, his hand trembled. The weight of everything pressing down. Then he heard the voice, his father's voice. Numbers don't lie, son. People do. The first problem took 43 minutes. Expected time, 90 minutes. Dr. Reynolds raised an eyebrow, made a note. The second problem, modular arithmetic with cryptographic applications. Isaiah found an elegant shortcut. A method from his father's notebooks. 1 hour, 8 minutes. Dr. Crawford leaned forward, watching intently. The third problem, open-ended proof construction. No right answer, just demonstration of mathematical thinking. Isaiah closed his eyes. Thought of his father's approach. Sideways, unexpected, beautiful. He opened his eyes and wrote. 3 hours and 22 minutes. Isaiah set down his pencil. Done. The panel collected his work, conferred in whispers. Isaiah sat motionless. Dr. Sullivan studied the page's longest, his expression troubled. Not suspicious. Something else. Something that looked almost like guilt. Finally, Dr. Crawford spoke. We'll need 30 minutes to review. Wait outside. Isaiah walked into the hallway. Dr. Moore was waiting. His voice was hollow. I did my best. They waited. 30 minutes became 45, then an hour. Then the door opened. Dr. Sullivan stood there alone. Mr. Parker, can I speak with you privately? Isaiah followed him to a corner of the hallway. Sullivan couldn't meet his eyes. I knew your father. We were in the same program. 1994. He was... Sullivan swallowed. He was the best of us, the most brilliant mathematician I'd ever met. Everyone knew he was going to do something extraordinary. What happened? Hartwell happened. Your father developed a solution. Revolutionary work. And Hartwell stole it. Blamed it as his own. You knew. Everyone knew. Sullivan's hands were shaking. When Hartwell accused your father of plagiarism, we all knew it was a lie. But Hartwell had power, tenure, connections. And we were scared. Isaiah felt rage building. You let him destroy my father. Yes, Sullivan's voice. I've carried that guilt for 24 years. I told myself it wasn't my business. That your father must have done something wrong. But I knew. I always knew. He reached into his jacket, pulled out an envelope. This is my written statement. Everything I witnessed. Everything I should have said in 1994. Isaiah took the envelope, his hands trembling. Why now? Because I saw you in that room. I saw you solve those problems. And I realized. Sullivan wiped his eyes. Sullivan wiped his eyes. You're not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for him. For a man who deserved better. A man we all failed. He straightened up. I'm not failing him again. I'm testifying against Hartwell. Isaiah held the envelope. A confession, 24 years in the making. The door opened again. Dr. Crawford emerged. Mr. Parker, we're ready. Isaiah walked back in. Sullivan took his seat with the others. Dr. Crawford held Isaiah's test papers. Mr. Parker, in 43 years of mathematics, I have evaluated thousands of students from MIT, Princeton, Cambridge, the finest institutions in the world. He paused. Your work today is exceptional. Problem 1, completed in half the expected time. Problem 2, you used a method I've only seen in advanced research. Problem 3, your proof construction shows original thinking at a professional level. Isaiah held his breath. It is my professional opinion that you are not a fraud. You are a genuine mathematical talent. Dr. Reynolds nodded. Agreed. The accusations against you are baseless. Dr. Sullivan stood. And I am prepared to provide testimony regarding events I witnessed in 1994. Events that explain how Professor Hartwell obtained the work he has claimed as his own for 24 years. Isaiah exhaled. The first real breath he'd taken in weeks. Dr. Crawford looked directly at him. Mr. Parker, your father would be proud. November 28th, 9:00 a.m. University Administration Building. The hearing room was cold, formal, designed to intimidate. On one side, Isaiah, Dr. Moore, and a stack of evidence. On the other, Professor Richard Hartwell, confident, smiling, certain of victory. He didn't know what was coming. This is a simple case. Hartwell's voice was smooth. Mr. Parker submitted a solution that no undergraduate could possibly derive independently. He refuses to explain how he obtained it. The only logical conclusion is academic dishonesty. He spread his hands. I take no pleasure in this, but Whitmore has standards. The dean turned to Isaiah. Mr. Parker, your response? Isaiah stood. I didn't cheat. I couldn't have, because the method I used came from my father's notebooks. Those notebooks could have been fabricated. Then explain this. Dr. Moore stood, placed a document on the table. This is a research proposal submitted by James Parker to the Whitmore Mathematics Department in October 1994. It describes the exact methodology that Professor Hartwell published in 1995. She placed another document beside it. This is a formal complaint filed by James Parker in February 1995, alleging that his advisor, Professor Hartwell, stole his work and claimed credit. Hartwell's face went pale. Oh, those documents are irrelevant. James Parker was a proven plagiarist too. James Parker was my father. Isaiah's voice cut through the room. And he didn't plagiarize anyone. He was the victim. Dr. Moore continued. We have independent verification of Mr. Parker's abilities. 3 mathematicians. Dr. Benjamin Crawford of MIT, Dr. Catherine Reynolds of Stanford, and Dr. Gregory Sullivan of Princeton evaluated him 2 days ago. She produced their written assessments. All 3 concluded that Isaiah Parker is a genuine mathematical talent. All 3 stated that the plagiarism accusation is baseless. Hartwell was sweating now. Those evaluations prove nothing about where he learned. There's more. Dr. Moore's voice hardened. Dr. Sullivan has provided a sworn statement. She slid the document across the table. Sullivan's confession. Dr. Sullivan was a graduate student at Whitmore in 1994. He witnessed Professor Hartwell take credit for James Parker's work. He witnessed the false accusations. He witnessed the cover-up. The dean's voice was ice. You'll have your chance to respond. Hartwell sat, his hands trembling. Isaiah stepped forward. My father was 21 years old when Professor Hartwell destroyed his life. He was accused of stealing his own work, expelled, blacklisted. He never recovered. His voice cracked. He took his own life when I was 6 years old because of what this man did to him. Isaiah pointed at Hartwell. And now, 24 years later, he tried to do the same thing to me. Because I walked into his classroom. Because I solved an equation. Because he couldn't stand that a black kid from the South Side knew something he never could. Dr. Crawford's video testimony played on the screen. I have reviewed Isaiah Parker's work extensively. His abilities are extraordinary. His methods align precisely with the research documented in his father's notebooks, research that predates Professor Hartwell's published work by over a year. Crawford looked directly into the camera. It is my professional opinion that Professor Richard Hartwell has built his career on stolen and his accusation against Isaiah Parker is not just false. It is a continuation of fraud that began 24 years ago. The video ended. The room was silent. The dean looked at Hartwell. Professor Hartwell, do you have anything to say? Hartwell opened his mouth, closed it. For the first time in 23 years, he had nothing. The dean nodded. The dean nodded. The charge of academic dishonesty against Isaiah Parker is dismissed, effective immediately. Pause, and an investigation will be opened into Professor Richard Hartwell regarding allegations of research misconduct, fraudulent accusations, and abuse of academic authority. Isaiah exhaled. 24 years! Finally, justice. The investigation took 3 months. 4 cases of research misconduct confirmed. 3 former students came forward with similar stories. 2 decades of stolen work exposed. Hartwell's tenure was revoked. Not resigned. Stripped. His publications flagged. His awards his name removed from the scholarship he'd founded. He wasn't fired. What happened was worse. He was erased. From journals. From conferences. From the department he'd ruled for 23 years. The last anyone heard, he was teaching remedial math at a community college 2 states away, making $40,000 a year. Living in a 1-bedroom apartment. He tried to make Isaiah invisible. Now he was